Hello and welcome. So I'm just gonna show you guys quickly how to make a little DIY plinth that has a nice little base at the bottom and a little raised area. So what I like is a little shop close to us in Somerset West called Crafters Inn. You get these little toothpick holders. So 16 bucks a pop. Styrene sheet we all have and can get easily at also at craft shops or at Wildstorm. So what I like to do is pretty simple. So you already got one sanded down, ready to go, and all that. So I'm just going to show you how I do that without actually doing the whole process, because it is just a bunch of cutting and glue and then sanding. So what I usually do is just take a piece of spare styrene sheet, try to find an area which is still usable, so that side would work for that. So I don't try to get it flush to size, so a little bit of overhang is fine. So if I would take, say for instance, this big sheet here, I'll place it to the corner, mark it out with the pen, have that little mark onto the styrene, take my square edge, line everything up, and take the nice big one and just cut that square out. And then you can just use super glue, glue that bit together so it's mostly squared up, and then easy enough, just take a flat file and then just square everything up and file everything flush, and then you have a perfectly flush little piece of topping for that. So what you can do also afterwards is take a little bit of putty or acrylic paste. So what I also like to use, but doesn't take too long to dry, is something like this, the Vallejo plastic putty. So I just usually put a little bead onto that little edge where they meet, just to make sure there's no little gap. And then I'll just smooth that out with my finger or a little piece of sponge, wet sponge. And once that's dry within a few minutes, I just take a fine piece of sanding grit or high grit sanding, and I sand that flush, and then I just give it a little go with a nail scrubber, just to get all of the little hairs and stuff off what you maybe could have accumulated over it. And then it's just prime and see if you're happy with how smooth everything is. And then if not, you can just go sand that back down and then just reprime. And also obviously just remove the stickers. So before the priming, also a little nice thing to do is, because you got two squares on top of each other, which is mostly centered. So I just usually take corner to top corner for the top one, and then same for the bottom. So in theory, that would allow you to have a center hole being the same center below. And it also allows you to have no wiggling once your rod or little stem you have for the plinth or plinth to bus. So this is also bought by Mictons. It's a carbon rod, meter and a half for 70 bucks, I think. Nice and cheap, easy to find for us locally as well. So then I just usually hacksaw a little piece off, put it in place so I now have enough room left over. So then I just super glue the bottom, because then I know it's not going to go anywhere, and I have enough room at the top. So if I want to adjust the length at the top, I can just cut it to accordingly how short I want it or how long I want it. And then that's basically it. So once that's all primed and ready, and you have a model on, you can just take some painter's tape, wrap the plinth around, and then you have something which isn't too uncomfortable. These points can get a little bit annoying at times, but then at least when you're done, you can just peel off the painter's tape, and then you're good to go. So nice little short 5-minute video on how to do your DIY plinth. Cheers.